What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the Game of the Year award because this year it's going to be the toughest and closest race we've ever seen. Between all of the major releases that we've seen, from Starfield to Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder, and more, it is going to be a jam-packed tight finish to get that award. And we are due for the nominations within the month. I mean, we are in November, so we are about to get the nominations sometime in the next 2 weeks. And then, not too long from there, the Game Awards will be happening early December. It's been a real special year for gaming, so I honestly wanted to just highlight each game that I think has a chance to win and talk about why I think they have a chance to win, and why they maybe won't win. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my personal pick for Game of the Year and the Game of the Year pick that I think is going to win. Keep in mind, those are two different things. Let's start with Tears of the Kingdom. Honestly, I think it's safe to say this might be one of the heaviest favorites to win the award. Coming on the heels of the former winner, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom just gives you more content. It's Breath of the Wild with more content. When this game came out, the fear of missing out was insane. Everybody on social media, real life was talking about this game. And it honestly lives up to the expectations. The different abilities that you can use to make makeshift weapons, boats, cars, and general tools is amazing. The ability to rewind time to reach high areas or solve some of the shrines is awesome. And the shrines in this game are really addictive, even more so than the first game. I mean, honestly, again, it's Breath of the Wild with more content. That alone should be enough to get this game really close to winning Game of the Year as one of the heavy favorites. Now, one of the reasons why it might not win Game of the Year is because it's too close to Breath of the Wild. So when I say it's Breath of the Wild with more content, I literally mean it's Breath of the Wild with more content. Sometimes people like to say sequels are just DLCs to older games. I usually think that's kind of stupid. Like, some people actually said Spider-Man 2 is just DLC, which is ridiculous. But in this case, it's kind of fitting. Tears of the Kingdom really is just DLC for Breath of the Wild. I'm going to be honest with you. Hyrule is basically the same except for the sky map. The shrines are completely different, of course, but they're also really good. But they're still just shrines. The real differences in this game, honestly, is just the sky map and the abilities. Of course, the story is different too, but a lot of people are upset that the story doesn't connect more to Breath of the Wild, which is ironic because a game that's considered Breath of the Wild content is somehow not narratively connected to Breath of the Wild. In any case, this game is a heavy favorite to win, and Tears of the Kingdom really is a special game. If you haven't played it, you should definitely check it out. I'm not sure if it's going to go on sale for Black Friday or anything, because Nintendo's pretty stingy about their first party releases, but if it does, you should definitely buy it, because this game was actually $70 instead of the regular $60. Then we have Starfield. Honestly, Xbox needed this game more than anything, maybe even more than Air itself. I mean, it's no secret that Xbox had a bad 2022, and their financials reflect that. They didn't have any games. I mean, seriously, it's getting so old saying Xbox has no games, but my god, they really had no games. Coming into this year, though, they've actually done a pretty good job. They had Forza, Redfall, which we're not going to talk about because that game's terrible, Starfield, and Hi-Fi Rush. And Starfield to me is the best of all of these games. In fact, it's the best Xbox game I've ever played. This is truly a masterclass from Bethesda. I think that the best part about this game is the main quests. So obviously there's one main quest and a bunch of side quests that are tied to factions, but they all feel like main quests. I mean, they're all so good that you could have swapped any single one of them and they could have been as good as the main quest. That type of writing is incredible, and this game does give you a lot of freedom. The exploration, the stories, the NPCs that you hear these cool things about. I mean, it's kind of like that game where you just dive in and you get lost. I mean, I spent so much time helping these people that came from Earth 200 years ago, and they thought they were the only survivors out there. In fact, they thought they were the only people out there. And just that alone spent me like 30 minutes going on a side quest doing all that. It's so fun what this game allows you to do, and the stories, the handcrafted content is next to none. It's truly Bethesda's best work in my opinion. Now, I can't lie, there are some flaws about this game as well. I don't think they necessarily needed 1,000 planets, but I see why they did it. I can't really say without spoiling, but there's a narrative reason why there's 1,000 planets. The 30 FPS thing on console honestly is kind of shocking because on PC it runs 30 FPS totally fine. And the Xbox Series X at least should be able to have 60 FPS. I mean, I get the S, but the X should be able to run it just fine. Anyways, Starfield is the second game on this list that definitely could win Game of the Year. Now we get to Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 honestly is the biggest Sony first-party release ever. This game just takes Spider-Man and PlayStation to a new level. Some of the sheer feats that this game has from a technical standpoint is astounding. I mean, we've seen the load screens swapping between Miles and Peter instantly, but it's also the boss fights in this game, it's the combat, it's the way this game runs on the PlayStation. It's just beautiful. I really don't know how Insomniac Studios manages to put out a game every like 2 years and each game tops the last one. There's gonna have to be like some science involved here or some magic or something, because I don't understand how they do it. This game's story also is really good. I could argue it's some of the best Spider-Man story, but honestly it's up there even if it's not the best. And yeah, this game truly just features the best of PlayStation Studios, and it is the best PS5 game and, in my opinion, PlayStation game that they've ever had. Now, I will say, something that holds this game back from winning Game of the Year, because I'm trying to give one reason for each game to win and one reason to lose, I would say what gives this game a holdback is probably the length of the game. Damn it, why are these games so short at PlayStation? Look, I don't really have a problem with the game being short, but $70 for 15 hours and a main quest is kind of lame. Especially when you consider some of the other first-party games that are coming out from other studios are longer than that. I just feel like $70 is too high a price to pay. The game is absolutely amazing, but if you're gonna beat it in a weekend and never play it again, my god, is it really worth $70? I don't know. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the last game here. This game honestly reminds me of 2017. We had a new Zelda and Mario at that point as well, except Mario was 3D, now it's 2D. This game is honestly such a blast to play. If there was ever a 2D game that felt like a 3D game, this would be it. The sheer amount of fun this game provides is more than enough for this to have a high chance of winning the Game of the Year award. The badge system, the power-ups, all new ones too, the Wonder Flowers, the soundtrack, it just gives me best Mario game on Switch vibes. And yeah, that's right, I said it. This is the best Mario experience on that console. If I had to recommend one person a Mario game, just one, and they had never played the franchise before, I would recommend this game. It's just a blast through and through, and it's honestly the step forward that 2D Mario needed, because for a while, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, well, not even for a while, basically for its entirety of the series, it got old. I mean, new Super Mario Bros. U, new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, new Super Mario Bros. On the 3DS, new Super Mario Bros. On the Wii. It's just, my god, enough already. But all that's in the past, because now we have Mario Wonder, which should be the start of something new. Now, I'm going to also talk about some honorable mentions before I give my pick here. Alan Wake 2 looks like it's a really good game and people are loving it. I haven't gotten around to it, but the Metascore is really high. Resident Evil 4 Remake is another one that's really good as well. I would never give a remake Game of the Year. I'm sorry, I just can't, especially in a year like this year where we have so many new original games and high-flying sequels. I can't give a remake Game of the Year, but it is a good game. Final Fantasy 16 is probably the biggest snub on my list. I mean, look, it had a good launch, but not a great one. And honestly, I think it just goes to show you Final Fantasy is not that big of a franchise. It's a well-respected one, and it definitely has a long history, but it's not this massive franchise that people look forward to. But the game does have a pretty good Metascore, and it looks like a pretty good game. Although, they did admit that the sales didn't quite hit the metrics. Hi-Fi Rush is another game that you absolutely have to try. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush might be Xbox's best game since the 360 days. Now, personally, I would say that title goes to Starfield, but if it's not Starfield, it's Hi-Fi Rush. I can't believe the horror studio game made this. Like, these people are the ones who make The Evil Within, and then they came around and made Hi-Fi Rush. Like, that is insane. Not to mention, this game was shadow dropped as well, so there's no lead up, no build up. It's just download the game, it's on Game Pass, go play it. And finally, my worst game of the year is another Microsoft game, Redfall. Dude, this game stinks. I don't know how else I can tell you. I put 15 hours into this game. It is horrible. So we can just put aside the performance issues because I think that's been talked about a lot. Okay, the game obviously from a technical standpoint stinks, but I'm going to talk to you about a philosophical standpoint. This game sucks. What is the point of doing a Back 4 Blood Redfall style game? Like, it's just terrible. I get what they were trying to do. It's literally Back 4 Blood, but with vampires. But Back 4 Blood wasn't a good game, so why are you copying them? That's like cheating off the guy who fails all the time. And honestly, what kills me the most about it is that this was positioned to be one of the bigger hitting exclusives that Xbox had. I mean, they marketed this game and didn't market Hi-Fi Rush. And then they had the audacity to say, man, we don't know what happened. Our internal reviews said it was good. You better hire me if that's the case, because if your internal people are telling you that's a good game, my god, you need some new people at that position. Anyways, Redfall is my 100% worst game, maybe that I've ever played, honestly. That game was awful. But now let me give you guys my pick for Game of the Year, as the Game of the Year awards come close every single day. My Game of the Year is Starfield. I honestly just finished the main quest not too long ago, and it was such a satisfying feeling. This game is just a masterclass. I can't tell you how much I love the Crimson Fleet main quest, but I also turned into a Freestar Ranger as well. There's so many stories in this game, so many ways that you can just get lost. And I don't know about other people, but I was completely immersed in this game, like 100%. There's definitely some things they could do to improve it, like New Game Plus, for example. There's a lot they could do to improve New Game Plus. But at the end of the day, this game is my Game of the Year. I loved every second of it, and honestly, it is one of the best Xbox games they've ever made. I will say though, the beginning part of Starfield is really, you kind of have to get through it. It's not something that you can just say like, oh yeah, I'm having fun in the beginning. Once you get your feet going, you really get your feet going. But the beginning part's just bad because there's so much thrown at you and you're like, I don't even know what to do, honestly. Like, what does progressing through this game even look like? You kind of have to find your footing before it really gets good. Okay, and so now my official prediction for Game of the Year, because remember, Starfield is my personal Game of the Year, but my prediction is Tears of the Kingdom. Look, it's definitely going to be Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom 100%. The reason I'm going with Tears of the Kingdom is because of the sales and sheer size of the players playing that game. Literally, Tears of the Kingdom had an insane amount of people playing the game. I think the sales through the first month were at 18.5 million. That's 1 month of just sales. Opening month. 18.5 million. That is ridiculous. Baldur's Gate 3, I think in 2 months hit 21 million players, which is really good. That's amazing. Tears of the Kingdom in 1 month was only 3 million away from what Baldur's Gate 3 did in 2 months. God knows where Tears of the Kingdom is at now. It's probably going to end up as one of the best-selling Switch games ever. And Tears of the Kingdom, honestly, is just a really fun game. I think it's everything you could want in a Zelda game, but with more content. It's Breath of the Wild with more content. And since Breath of the Wild won, I see no reason why Tears of the Kingdom can't win, but honestly, it's going to be a Godzilla vs. Kong battle here between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, which will be the second year in a row that this has happened, because last year it was God of War and Elden Ring. God of War swept up a lot of the awards, but Elden Ring got the big one. So we'll see, maybe Tears of the Kingdom sweeps up a lot of the awards, but Baldur's Gate 3 gets the big one, or vice versa. But there you have it, that is my official Game of the Year awards preview. What do you guys think wins Game of the Year? Let me know what I missed out on, and let me know what I'm completely dead wrong about in the comments section. I'm sure you will. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want some more content. Hope to see you guys in the next video, but until then, peace.